Okay, first, can I welcome everybody? Nice to see you. Many of you, we haven't seen each other since March. So due to the technology advancement, we are able to meet at last. It's my pleasure to welcome everybody. The Mubaka's meeting felt that with all the things that are happening to us, to our community, there are some aspects which we may be in control of that probably we need to discuss, and hence this meeting. And the key issue here is that we've been affected by this pandemic very adversely, as you know. Many of our people, we've lost many people. I remember many years ago when I just come to UK, in 1 year in our community, it was very rare to lose more than one person. Even one person was a lot. But these last 3-4 months have showed that things have changed dramatically. In only 3 months, we've lost close to 40 people. That's a lot of people. And my condolences to everybody who has lost their loved ones. Condolences to the community because we have all lost these people. Now the problem is most of us, and probably this is not a problem, most of us, when we die, we would like to be returned to Uganda for many reasons. One, most of our relatives actually happen to live in Uganda. Many of us, we are the first generation who are in this country. And we don't feel like being buried here is appropriate. And it isn't. Why should you be buried here when you have plenty of land in Uganda and relatives there? And because of that, whenever we have a death, one of the first things we do is to congregate to do what we call lumbe, which is normal. But key to that lumbe, usually, it is the collection of money to help with repatriating our departed back to Uganda. Now, where I started, I said we used to lose one person or two, which would be the maximum 30 years ago. But in the last 3-4 months, we've lost close to 40. Now, a collection for 40 people is near impossible. And many people who we have lost, they are still having that problem. Now, we were aware that there is another alternative, and the alternative is why we are here today. Now, I've got two people who are going to speak to you about this alternative, the alternative to collection. Pauline Najuma. Miss Pauline Najuma is well known to you. She has done a lot of work in the community. In fact, during this pandemic, she was the first one to set up a program, a welfare program to help those who are needy. I think she called it a booster program. And many people were beneficiaries of this booster, which included food, limes, ginger, all sorts of things, which the community found very, very helpful. And we thank Rap and Sons for that. So many people know her from that. Other people will know Pauline because she's a regular at many of our events. And usually she's given a slot to say a word or two about the work that she's doing. So Pauline is one of the people who will be talking to us today. She's here with us. Did I hear an applause for Pauline for the work that she has done in the booster program? And the other, she's got a colleague.
Which people muted?
You muted yourself.
No. Actually, I've done it by mistake.
Am I muted? Oh.
We can hear you now.
Oh.
Okay. So I don't know where I...
No, you're okay now. You're fine now.
Okay.
Just finish, start at the end of the applause.
Oh, I see. Okay. So that applause was for Pauline for her work in the community, especially the booster program. And then I went on, I wanted to introduce you to Pauline's colleague, Mr. Ashley Muchivi from the Lugave clan, who is also here and has been a regular to quite a few of our events, including the coronation last year in summer. Ashley works with Pauline, and he contributed a lot to the booster program as well. So another round of applause, please. So he will be talking to you also about how we address this issue of helping to return our dear departed, the people that we lose here. So after they have spoken, there will be an opportunity to ask questions. And your questions will be very important. So when they are speaking, give them an opportunity to finish what they are saying. There will be an opportunity to ask questions. So essentially, that's why we are here today. We want to talk about alternatives to that collection that we have always done to help return our people to Uganda. Now, without further ado, let me call upon Pauline to start with. Pauline, you are most welcome, and the floor is yours.
Very much. Can everybody hear me well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Wetiwa has already introduced. My name is Pauline Najuma. I'm the founder and CEO for Sons. For those who don't know Sons well, it's an organization that was initiated to bridge the gap between the insurance providers and the funeral directors. It has been coming to 4 years working with the insurance providers. And from that, we have found a need to also connect and support our community with the funeral directors. So we initially started on supporting the community, encouraging, educating our community the importance of taking up funeral covers. We have been working very closely, proudly with Advance Life, that's headed by our brother Muchivi. And not only that, they are supporting us to provide a so much needed service, but they are so much part of our community. We work alongside all the African leaders with the funeral cover that we have identified that is so much needed in our community. Just like the OHT were mentioned, that when we lose a loved one in this foreign land, we found ourselves desperate for funds. So we come up with a solution, a package that is so affordable to everyone, a package that the funds can be accessed immediately as when we lose a loved one. What we don't want to be continuously getting into is the desperation of losing a loved one at the moment, at the same time we're looking for funds. We are proud to still have a solution. We just have to put the solution into action. So we are so privileged, and I'm very humbled that at this point in time, OHT can say, let us lead the front of getting the community to acknowledge that we have a problem and also acknowledge that we have a solution which is workable. We are trying to work so closely with the insurance providers that when we lose our loved ones, the funds are available immediately. We have even had incidents whereby if funds are not yet ready because of maybe the paperwork, the next of kin not being assessed yet, we can try and work with our funeral directors who are in partnership with us to try and settle either a burial or repatriation as long as the deceased had an active cover, which is very beautiful. This is the reason why we are getting in our insurance providers to be part of our community, to make us more understand that these services are so important to us. These services are so available and valuable to us. When I finish, I will request Ashley Muchivi to elaborate more on that. But we'll have a reference of a gentleman who passed away, whereby there was issues with the cover. We managed to get together the insurance providers, Sons, and the funeral directors, and actually supported the family to be able to repatriate the loved one. So we need to identify the problems with the solution and what could be a problem if all those catered for. In this incident, we find sometimes that our loved ones, our community, don't understand the context in which they have to complete their applications. So when we lose a loved one, we have a problem where the covers are invalidated after revealing that some information were not given out at the point of sign up. So it's also very important that we understand that why you are taking the cover and what entails into taking that cover and what you need to do to make sure that your cover is valid up until when the inevitable strikes. We find a problem sometimes in the community that people withheld very important information, and that sometimes happens. Lack of understanding that the information you are holding back at the point when a claim is being put through, it will invalidate your claim. Things as maybe not explaining fully your health conditions. In that, some people have a concern that if they reveal a full length of their health conditions, it may make their premiums high. But you rather understand that you rather take up a higher premium, but it will be active to when you need to put in a claim. Because if you hold some information back and the time of the claim, you who took the cover is no longer with us. The family, the community leaders who are trying to put through your claim come to learn that that information was held behind. It will invalidate your cover, and unfortunately, there won't be money refunded. It's very important. We have an alternative for the over 50 plus clients, whereby if you are over 50 and you have a lot of underlying illnesses and you feel you will not get a cover, we can assess you based only on your age without medical assessment, provide a cover that suits your financial affordability, that can allow you to have a payout in case of the inevitable happening. The over 50 plan, it allows anyone with serious illnesses to take a cover, and you, if you lived over 2 years, you automatically qualify for what was packaged as the £10,000. If you left the planet before the year's period, every penny that you've paid into this cover is paid to your loved one, plus 50% on top of that. At least it can be a good package that the community or loved one can start working on. So it's very important to understand that if you hold back some information, it will only invalidate your cover at a very crucial time when your loved one needs the funds. So we urge the community, when you have underlying illnesses, please declare them. If before 50, you rather reduce the package, which we designed to be £10,000, and get something out of it than withholding information, because at that time, the insurance provider will communicate directly with your doctor, and that information will come out that before you took the cover, you had the illnesses. However, if you take the cover and you be diagnosed with any illnesses after your cover, it does not affect your cover at all. So it's very important for us to understand this. I will let Machivi elaborate more on that, but it's important for us to understand that at the point of you going through the initial process of your application, it's very important to declare what you have. Some illnesses really doesn't affect your cover, so it's important to really declare what you have, so we can work closely with you at the time of taking out the cover, and also be beneficial and serve the purpose for what you're taking out for at the time when the inevitable strikes. The process of taking the cover is very simple, it's very clear. Everything is done on the phone, everything is done online. We take a few information, we assign you up for a special risk advisor, then your cover is taken up based on the information you give us, based on your affordability. We don't want people to take up covers that they cannot afford, and at the end of it, you lose out money because you can't afford it. It's best we assess you and you take a cover that you can afford financially. The process only takes a few hours, and the paperwork are filled up online, and the documentations are emailed to you or posted. We have the privilege of saying that everybody who takes up a cover with us, we encourage the community to take a will service. We offer a free will service. This will service basically costs around £130 or 150. We are offering these services for free to anyone that takes up this cover. So once you take up the funeral cover, we can work with you to write up your will. From time to time, we've had people say, I don't have much to write in the will. I'd want to urge the public, everyone listening, writing your will, especially for us in diaspora, is as important as taking your cover. We have had cases where our loved one have made the decision for the one we've lost that was not their wishes. It's very important. As simple as filling in your will, completing your will, outlining how you would actually want your life to be celebrated. As she was said, majority would probably say 98% of us in diaspora, we want to be repatriated back to our ancestors. But often when there is no funds, people left behind make those wrong decisions for us because it was not written down. Sometimes if our children, they are not so accustomed to our culture. They don't value our ancestors, and they make those drastic decisions at that time when you can't say anything. And the worst is to be cremated. The worst is to be cremated. We have seen it in a way that families or loved ones or communities make a decision based on funds. We don't have funds to repatriate or bury, so we're gonna cremate. All children will make a decision, we're gonna cremate because what's the point? Their mindset is different. But if you have a will, if you had left a will that people have copies of, as the community together, we can support the will and have to be repatriated and make your wishes be respected. But when there's nothing written, it's absolutely impossible. So the will help us to make sure that your life is celebrated the way you want it. Or if you have property, majority of us here, we live in this country and we invest in Africa and we have children. If you haven't written anything down in the will, it's our culture when we go back that the elders have to be respected. Abakulu b'ebika bajja kutuula batusalirewo. Ate ffe culture yaffe nti omukulu w'ekika bataata bwe batudde kati gwe mwana toyogera. Naye bw'obeerawo ne will that can help those around, especially your children. Tusobola okufuna ba lawyers, tuyina ba lawyers be lawyer assigned for, nitugamba banaye, fight for this family, fight for this man, fight for this woman. This was her wish. This is how she wants her property to be distributed amongst her children. But if there is nothing written down, we all know the elders will make that decision for you. When you can't talk anymore, you can't fight for your children. We all know how hard it is, how painful it can be. Sometimes if the husband have left before the wife, it is so hard for the wife to go with the children, muchika, natandi kutuwanisaba elders. So it's very important to take the opportunity, to take advantage of this will service that is offered to you for free. Before I continue, I'm going to invite my partner, Ashley Redding, to please elaborate more on our services.
Pauline.
Chibi, can you unmute? Yes.
Muy buale nyo. Amanya gange nze. Mabala muziza banyabo ni basabo. That's the extent of my Ugandan. I do apologize if I've got that all wrong, but I want to try something.
Perhaps, Pauline, you'll also summarize for us, perhaps, after.
Yes. Oh, definitely. Definitely.
So, well, first of all, thank you to you all for inviting me on. My name is Ashley Muchibi, and you've brought me into your heart, into your Ugandan beautiful hearts, your community here, in a beautiful way. I've met so many of you over the last few years, as I've had a great pleasure of working with Rap and Sons, and I have to say, from all the Ugandan people I've met, you're amazing dancers. I thought I could dance until I went to an event in Germany last year, and you showed me up on a dance floor. Great dancers, I have to say, great dancers. Very impressed. Anyway, as we know, life is for living. As I know you, everyone here, you live your life to the full. Enjoy it as much as you can. One day we will pass, and tomorrow is never promised. And we need to make sure that we provide dignity for the Ugandan community, the diaspora here. So when your time comes, there is money available to repatriate you back to Uganda. And that is what we do. And Bounce Life, the company that I founded, is one of the largest life insurance brokers in the UK. Very proud to work with Pauline Najuma at Rap and Sons. Very, very proud. And the work that Pauline is doing within the community is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And I've worked with many, many people over the last 30 years in my working career. And I've been hugely impressed with the commitment and the drive and the passion that Pauline has to help her community. So obviously Bounce Life's role in this is to arrange the right insurance policy at the right price, at a price that's affordable, so that when, God forbid, when your day comes, it's time to pass, there is money in place. I just want to share with you just a statistic a second. And this is a fact. This is a fact. I know at the moment during COVID-19, there have been unusual high levels of people passing away. And again, I want to echo the words that have already been said. I want to pass on my personal thoughts and prayers and condolences to you and your families and loved ones that we've lost. I'm really I'm sorry for your losses. It's been a very, very difficult time for all of us. We've had to learn how to adapt. The one thing that this has done, in fact, is make people more aware of the importance of protection, life insurance, and ultimately, which gives you peace of mind. So I did say to you, I want to give you some statistics. I want to give you one stat, or two stats actually. First of all, and this is a statistic, 94% of people in the UK. So I'm not just talking about the diaspora. I'm talking about 94% of people in the UK. Bear in mind, there's 65 million people in the UK. 94% will die with less than £500 cash in the bank. I'll say that again because it's a staggeringly frightening figure. 94% of people in the UK will die with less than £500. Now, what that means is, by the way, I'm not saying that people don't have maybe some money in investments or some pensions or in property. I'm saying cash in the bank. Because at the end of the day, you can't pay for your repatriation and your funeral with your house. You can't pay it with your pension. You can't. It's got to be paid with money, cash, and fairly quickly after you pass, within 2 to 3 weeks. So bearing in mind that 94% of people will die with a very small amount of cash in the bank. The next statistic, the second and last statistic I'm going to give you, is the cost of the average cost. Galaxy J4 just needs to be.
Unmute.
Unmute. Kayemba, Mom Kayemba, unmute.
As much as I love hearing other people's conversations sometimes, I wish I don't, my Ugandan is not very good at the moment. I will promise I will practice harder. So next time I speak to you, I'll try and learn a few more words of Ugandan. Anyway, people are dying with less than £500 in the bank. In fact, 94% of people in the UK. So, knowing that, and knowing that the cost of repatriating somebody back to Uganda is going to cost around about anywhere between £8,000, £9,000, £10,000, maybe more. Maybe more if the celebration that you want in Uganda is going to be a big party, a joyous one. If you really want to celebrate in style, it's going to be more than £10,000. But £10,000 will certainly provide repatriation or the funeral arrangements and provide you with a dignified send-off. So if you want anything more, then you can arrange for more than £10,000, subject to how much you want to pay. But if there's less than £500, the problem is at the moment is there are too many people, millions of people in the UK, or the diaspora community that are dying with little or no money in the bank. So what happens? What is the current solution? The current solution is this. Let's say, for example, I am the son of my mum that's passed away, and she has less than £500 in the bank, and I've got my life I've got to lead. Where do I find the money to bury my mum? Do I have it? Let's say I don't. What do I do? My mum doesn't have it, and she's passed away. She never took out a funeral plan. She never took out a celebration of life plan. So what do? I'm her loved one. And now I'm grieving for two reasons. I'm grieving because I've lost my mum. I'm now grieving because I haven't got any money to give my mum a dignified send-off. I'm now feeling awful. So I borrow money. I go to a payday loan. I go to a credit card. I max up my credit cards. I take out another credit card. I need £10,000. I remortgage my mum's property, but that's going to be difficult because it's in her name still. I go to my church pastor and I ask the church pastor to announce to the community, would you please do a whip round for me, please? Could everyone please put £20 in the hat? I ask my friends and family. I do GoFundMe. I do Just Giving. I announce to the world on social media my desperate scenario, and it's very, very undignified, and it is so easily avoided. So easily avoided. So, and actually, the other story, and Pauline mentioned this earlier. The other thing is, well, if there is no money, and we just cannot afford the repatriation back to Uganda, what little money I've been able to, generate, maybe that just pays for a cremation, which is a taboo. Really, it's not anything that any of us would want to allow. By the way, as you notice, I say us because I'm Muchibi. We're all together now, so we're all family together. You don't want your name dragged through the mud. You want to make sure that you provide money for your children so that they can give you the send-off that you are entitled to. You see, we don't call it bat funeral plans because I find funeral plans a bit depressing. I don't want to talk about death and dying. I want to talk about celebration, celebrating life. You've lived a life, and your life should be celebrated. I want people to rejoice and tell great stories. And I've seen how you all dance at parties, and I know how good you are. And I want you all to be dancing when you come to my funeral or my celebration. Party, music, live music, dancing, celebration. The trouble is, all those things cost money. But people will remember those occasions, and so they should. If there's no money, you can't provide all that celebration because, unfortunately, there's no money. So what we do is this. Let me tell you how it works, because it's very simple. I have been doing this for 30 years of my life. I've dedicated my entire life to helping protect the diaspora here in the UK and everyone else in the UK, making sure that we live our best lives, but also being mindful that we need to protect tomorrow. If tomorrow doesn't come, there is money there to pay for my celebration that I want to have. And the solution is so simple. No GoFundMe, no Just Giving, no speaking to your pastor, no speaking to your friends and family, beg, steal, and borrow. You know what? For the children that go through that, it's really heart-wrenching because, children, when they lose their mums and dads, they want to go forward in life. They don't want to suddenly lose their mum and dad and go backwards. What I mean is going backwards. They've suddenly got themselves £10,000 in debt. That's not a good place to be when you want to sort of get on in life. Life is difficult enough at the moment, let alone losing your mum and suddenly finding you've got to borrow £10,000 to bury your mum or to repatriate back to Uganda. So this is the solution. Speak to Pauline. Number one, ask Pauline if she would refer you to a friendly, kind, regulated, authorized celebration of life advisor, a financial advisor, but one that specializes in life insurance, celebration of life plans. And I've got an amazing team in Bounce Life that are ready to speak to you now. Well, not quite now, but you know what I mean. Give it half an hour. No, but we're here on standby. We work from 8 in the morning to 8 in the evening, 7 days a week. And yeah, you are right. We don't have a life. But we love what we do. It's important that we protect you. So you speak to Pauline, she'll refer you, nice and simple. She'll book you in the diary to speak to somebody very friendly. And this person's job is to design a life insurance policy. That's ultimately what it is, at a price that you can afford. So we'll ask you, what kind of celebration do you want? What sort of party do you want? We all know everyone wants to be repatriated back to Uganda. That's understood. But once you're there, you want to make sure there's a celebration, and all those arrangements cost a lot of money. So it may well be for some of you, you might want more than £10,000. You might want 15,000 or 20 or 30 or 40. You might want to invite 300 people, 500 people to your party. I call it a party because ultimately that's what we want it to be, a party to celebrate your life. So We have access to every life insurance company in the UK. We have absolutely the lowest rates. Typically, I shouldn't be saying this, but I'm going to say it because I can't help myself. The cost of the policy does depend upon your age. If if your smoker status, so if you don't smoke, that's good. That's a lot cheaper. And your health. So let us just assume for a moment you're about, I'm just going to say about 50 years old. And you are in okay health, okay sort of height and weight. Let's just assume that. The cost of the policy is going to be around about £5 a week, about £20 a month. That just gives you an idea. Now, please don't quote me on that, because it may well be that it might be a bit less, or it might be a little bit more. As Pauline said, we can help with the max or the maximum minimum premium for an over 50s plan. I think the maximum premium is about £40 a month, something like that, maybe £50 a month. But here's the thing: it doesn't. At the point of making a phone call, there's no obligation. You're not committed in any way. Have a conversation, speak to Pauline, speak to one of my advisors, just see how much it's going to cost and find out for yourself. I'd rather speak to everyone and give everyone the opportunity to say no. I mean, I don't want you to say no, because that defeats the whole point of what we're trying to do here. But we've got to give everyone the opportunity to say we're very proud of how we look after people as well. I mean, for me, if I'm honest, I believe our work really begins when there's a claim. Of course, helping you, talking to you, designing a plan, getting that set up. I've got to be honest, that's the easy bit. The bit where we really get to work is when there's a claim. And we've been there before, as Pauline will testify. I get everyone working. We work with Pauline, Rapp & Sons, amazing. We work with the funeral directors, amazing, the best in the business. We organize everything. We take away the stress and the worry. And of course, we take away the financial worry too. And make sure that £10,000 or 15 or gets paid out. I know there's some questions. I'll come on to the questions in a minute. We work to get the money repaid in a matter of probably 2 to 3 weeks. It's it can be quicker, and sometimes it can be a bit slow. It depends upon the reasons for the death, the reasons for the passing. We also, as a package, we also believe that often before people pass, they might have an illness first. So it wouldn't be unusual for somebody to be diagnosed with, well, us fellas, we might get diagnosed with prostate cancer. Maybe women might have other breast cancer. You know, these things, these days, I want to give you one more statistic. 1 in 2 of us in the UK, 1 in 2 will be diagnosed with some form of cancer in our life. It's a scary statistic. The good news is, though, medicine has become better and better. And so we will hopefully, continue to live a long, happy, healthy life. But in Bounce and Rapp & Sons, we want to help as many people also, in the event of having an illness, get a lump sum as well. So as a package, if somebody was diagnosed with cancer, we want to make sure that we pay a year's salary, maybe 20, 30, 40, 50,000 pounds in the bank, for you to then maybe get the best medical treatment, maybe go around the world, go back to Uganda for a couple of months, to see your family, spend the money, it's yours. And then, God forbid, should you then subsequently pass away, be it, a month, 2 months, 3 months, 3 years later, 30 years later, you've got the celebration of life that's going to pay a lump sum out to repatriate you back to Uganda. Plus, of course, just to say, everybody who takes out a Celebrate or any plan with Bounce Life through Rapp & Sons will be gifted a free will worth £130 on us. That's our gift to you, and Pauline and explain that perfectly well, so I won't need to go into any more detail about that. So I'm going to summarize now, and we can get on to some questions. a major problem, a simple solution, and one that's affordable. If, for example, I'm going to leave you with one thing, because some people, you know, they are worried about what they're spending. Let's say somebody speaks to me on the phone and says, Muchibi, I really, you know, I cannot afford more than £10 a month, but I need something. That's fine. It's fine. It may well be we've got a starter then, maybe with just £5,000 that pays out. And maybe next year we can afford a bit more, then we'll just increase it a little bit. Maybe a year later and a year later. Eventually we might get up to £10,000, but something is better than nothing. I will leave it there. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm going to hang around to answer some questions if that's okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Ashley, Muchibi, and Pauline and Ajuma for those very interesting presentations. I see you have already created a lot of questions. People are already asking questions, and so I think we should move immediately. Did you want to say something, Pauline, before we move to the question and answers?
I think let's move to the question and answers. We shall elaborate as we go along here.
Yeah, because I saw quite a few people asking questions. Now, the people in charge of technology will advise us, but I think you need to put your hand up and then ask a question. I saw a question from Farida.
You know what? I've got all the questions written down, so if it's okay, I will answer the questions that I can see.
Okay.
Let me do. So there's a question from Farida. Can I take out a cover that includes my children? In the UK, in actual fact, in many places in Africa, in Uganda, Ghana, Nigeria, I do know you can. In the UK, you can't. I'm ever so sorry. We're a bit backward in this country. Sorry. It's something which I think we should be doing, and I think I've already campaigned with insurance companies to do that. But unfortunately, with a celebration of life plan or life insurance policies in general, you can't add your children on. Once your children are over the age of 17, they can have their own plan. I just want to say one thing though, because there's a little bit of a caveat to that. If, for example, you took out a critical illness policy as an adult, so if Farida, if you took out, let's say, £20,000 of critical illness, where it pays out a lump sum if you're diagnosed with cancer, for example, we can add your children to that plan. So if your children were diagnosed with an illness or die, then that can be added into that plan. But you can't take out a funeral plan for your children. Again, any more questions? Let's say, please, Farida, please feel free to speak to Pauline, be referred, and then you can have, you know, a whole long conversation with an advisor specifically about your scenario. From Samsung S20. It's a great name. Ashley, we have some friends from Kenya, Rwanda, and TZ. Where's that? Where's TZ? Is that
Tanzania?
Yeah, Tanzania. As well. Can I absolutely, the more the merrier. Muchibi welcomes everyone. Can we have some leaflets and more information to the website from Stephen Luboyera? Absolutely. So Pauline, let's chat about that, how we can add a bit more to the website, and then and provide some leaflets. That's fine.
Otherwise, I'll be making noise for you.
What is the maximum premium for someone over 50? I think it's £40 or £50 a month maximum premium. Over 50 pounds are phenomenal. No medical questions asked. As you know, if you die within the first 2 years, you get all your money back plus 50% on top. Unless, by the way, in the first 2 years you die of an accident, then it actually pays out 3 times the amount. You know, it'll pay out 3 times the 10,000 if you die of an accident. If, however, you survive the 2 years, which I hope most people do, then it pays out the normal way. It's a brilliant, brilliant policy. And for they're the people that are sort of uninsurable. I already have, so from Harriet Jones, I already have a life insurance cover with another company. Do I need to connect it to the community one? If so, how? Well, Harriet, I would urge you to speak to Pauline, be referred into, speak to one of my advisors, and let us see whether the policy you've got is the right one for you. We might be able to get exactly the same policy or better for less money per month. We might be able to save you some money, and we'll give you a free will, and we make sure it's put into trust so your loved ones get the money immediately. So let us see whether we could do something for you, Harriet. From Lutaya, oh, sorry, that was just saying, sorry, that was a question and answer session will follow. So here's from Farina. I have already got a cover for say the last 10 years and wish to take out new cover. That's great, lovely to hear. Will the new cover incorporate my previous year's commitments? No, they won't. So effectively, it's like the best way to explain it is like any other form of insurance, like car insurance, home insurance. If you stop with one car insurance company, you paid a year's insurance and you change to another company, you don't get any money back on the old one, but you've had the cover, so you've been protected. But you don't effectively, the old one ends and a new one begins. But you don't lose anything because you haven't effectively lost anything. Your new premium will just will start. Hopefully, you'll be pleasantly surprised at how reasonable the new policy is. I will say one thing. Because of medical improvemements in the last 10 years, it's not unusual that I find that life cover today is cheaper than life cover 10 years ago. Because medicine has got better and better and better. They've found new drugs. People actually are living longer. We might be getting ill along the way, but people are being kept alive. So I know that COVID-19's been an unusual situation, but in the main, the cost of life cover has come down. So if you've got cover, let's try and see if we can get you something better. Marion, what are the 3 most common reasons for invalidation of a policy? Well, there's actually one main reason. And Pauline was very eloquent, not telling the advisor all about your medical history. So if, for example, I'll give you a good example. You've got high blood pressure and you're taking medication for your high blood pressure, and one day you die of a heart attack, but you never told the advisor that you've got high blood pressure and you're taking medication for it. That will not pay out. So that's a good example. So just tell us, and you'll be amazed. We can insure most people. It is unusual that we can't insure somebody. It's unusual. So from Stephen, could we get the number to call? Oh, that's right. Stephen's got to go off soon. Please get the number up to call. That would be great. Does it, from Samson Gallery S7, does this conflict with existing life insurance, work cover? No, it doesn't. It complements it. You can have as many life insurance policies as you like, by the way. That's another very common question I get asked. Can I have more than one? Yeah, you can have 10 if you want. You don't need as many as 10. It gets a bit complicated. But if you've got something from work, great, keep it. It's free. You've got it. But of course, if you leave work, you lose it. So anything you take out with us is permanent. At all. From Farida. Farida says, Pauline, all covers expire. Can I extend my cover nearer to the renewable date to avoid losing out on my previous commitment? You can. That can be done. So, for example, if you've got an existing policy and you really don't want to stop paying into that, then what we can do is we can speak to that provider, whoever it is, Aviva, AIG, Legal & General, Royal London, Zurich, Scottish Widows. We can speak to them on your behalf and say, can we please extend the term? But again, let us give you advice. Let us help you. Let us understand what you've got, and either we extend what you've got or we start something new. Paul Jones has sent a telephone number out. Fantastic. Thank you, Paul. And an email address as well. Brilliant. I like this from Winnie. You're saying I like the something is better than nothing. Absolutely not. There are two people in my two categories of people when they pass. Those that have actually been able to plan for their funeral, and those that haven't. And I have to say, it is desperately sad to look at the celebration of life or lack of it for somebody who has not made provisions. For those who has, it just takes 50. The phone call with my advisor is not a long conversation. And it's quite upbeat. It's not too depressing either. But we don't spend the whole time talking about death, dying, and being ill. We actually talk about some fun stuff. What kind of party you want to have? What flowers? How much champagne do you want? What sort of dancers do you want? What music do you want? We talk about uplifting things. So, it's not a... Anyway, can I incorporate other covers such as income protection, critical illness in the same cover? No, you can't. Not the same cover, Farida. A celebration of life plan is a standalone plan that cannot be blended or mixed with anything. It's a standalone plan. However, we would love to talk to you about other life policies such as income protection, life insurance to protect your mortgage, life insurance to protect your loved ones, your children, your kids, income protection, critical. It's not a problem. Love to. From Paul Jones, from Joy, Kayakwita. I'm trying so hard. I promise you I will improve my Ugandan. Kayakwita. Oh, anyway, 10 out of 10 for trying, I say. I took out something on Legal and General for accident and death for children. Yeah, I mean, there are some policies that cover accident, but I've got to be honest, I don't like them. They are so caveated with all sorts of they only pay out if you die if you fall over a crack in the pavement on a Tuesday. I mean, I just, those accidental death policies, I've got to be honest, I don't like them. I really don't. I'd like to review that, Joy, if that's okay. From Jane Tamale, can we include our properties in Uganda? I tried and they told me I could not. Can I? Can we include our properties in Uganda? Well, I have to say I don't know. I'm not sure if you can or can't. I have to say I don't know. You got me stumped on that one. That sounds like you need to speak to someone who's going to arrange your will for Uganda. How is a Samsung Galaxy S7? How's a funeral plan different from life insurance? Right, life insurance runs for a set number of years. So maybe to when your children grow, or maybe the age of 80, or age 80, or 90. A funeral plan runs for the whole of your life. So if you live to 130 years old, it will pay out then. It will run forever. That's the difference. Can someone sign up in Uganda and a direct debit set up in another person's name in the UK? Well, how it should work is that in order to insure somebody, they need to have a UK address and a bank account in the UK. Now, if they happen to be living in Uganda at the time, I guess, if I'm honest, we wouldn't know, because all we know is that they've told us they have a UK address and a UK bank account. So the fact that they're in Uganda, we wouldn't necessarily know. Let me just cover something else though at this point, because I get asked this question a lot. Muchibi, what if somebody takes out a plan in England and the UK, and then 3 years later they go back to Uganda? Can they keep their policy? Will it still pay out? And the answer is yes. Paul has just talked about Rapid & Sons, which is brilliant. Thank you, Paul. Samsung Galaxy S7, can I get any money back when I decide to opt out? No, you can't. So the answer is don't opt out. Pay in, stay in, and you got the cover. Again, I always remind people it's no different to your car insurance, or your house insurance, or pet insurance. If you take out pet insurance and your dog doesn't die, do you get your money back? No, you don't get a penny back. It's there in case your dog dies. Beneficiaries can be in the policy. Is there an age limit for beneficiaries? There is no age limit for beneficiaries at all. Oh, there is 1 month. You have to be 1 month old to be a beneficiary. And how many beneficiaries can you have? As many as you like. I'm definitely joining you today. Leaving Legal and General. Thank you, Joy. Music to Muchibi's ears. Farida, I hope many of us who don't have any plans in place will take out a plan to allow those left behind to celebrate their lives rather than mourn for a long time. It is a debt that they get. Thank you so much for creating this awareness for our community. Thank you, Farida. Paulie, what are the major requirements to have a plan? Be alive. Be in okay health. If you're not in okay health, don't worry, we'll still try and help you. Pay into the plan and keep paying. Try not to miss your payments. If you do, then it can, the plan could lapse and you lose your cover. That's really it. That's really it. Advisor. Call in first and speak to one of my lovely advisors. Oh, there are hands that have been up from the beginning. Oh, sorry. So hang on. Have I missed? Can I open up accounts for relatives in Uganda? They've got to be UK resident, ideally. Do you have companies that you in collaboration with Uganda? That one, Winnie, maybe Pauline could answer. Yes.
Yeah, I'll answer that. Yeah.
Now, just hands up. Have I missed some hands up? And if I have, Pauline, or could someone ask me the question and then I'll answer it.
I can ask the question. I'm DM.
Hey, DM.
Hi, my name's Dorothy. And my question was about the next of kin. And I know that when people die, it's not always easy to identify the next of kin. And it's the next of kin who gets the death certificate, who gets the bank account opened, who, to what extent are people able to identify an appropriate next of kin who's actually living in this country and able to actually effect the policy? Because sometimes the next of kin is a child.
It's a great question. I'm so happy you've asked it. We, at the point of submitting the application, so when we're on the phone to you, designing the solution, and you said, okay, Muchibi, go ahead, I want to take out that plan. We will ask you some questions. One of those questions will be, who do you want the money to go to when you die? Now, for example, that person is called a trustee. Now, I just want to break up because somebody asked me earlier about beneficiaries. Now, it may well be the beneficiaries are your children who might be 8 and 10 years old or under the age of 18. Now, they can't get the money. They may be identified as the beneficiaries of your money, but they're not old enough to manage the payout. So you have to appoint a trustee. That is somebody who you trust. That money. So at the application, you would give us the name of the trustee, their mobile number, their email address, their date of birth, and their address. When you pass away, we contact them. We have direct communication with them. So there's no guesswork. There's no risk.
But if they haven't agreed to be your next of kin, I'm talking about a situation we've had this year where somebody insists that they're somebody's next of kin, and the next of kin is actually appointed with somebody else, but somebody else is related and a blood relative and whatever. And there was this fighting over who the next of kin was.
Okay. No, it is a good question, but you're talking about next of kin. Now, you as the policy owner have the power, the sole power, to nominate 1, 2, or 3 people who are going to get the money. It may well be the person or persons that you've appointed, that you've nominated. They might be your next of kin. They might not be. So there's no squabbling. At the point of you taking out the plan, the money will go to the person that you have nominated. Let's say, for example, you've nominated your best friend in the whole world, who you trust more than anyone. Maybe you trust more than maybe a member of your family who may be your next of kin. If you've appointed your best friend, they will get the money. And if your next of kin come along and say, well, hang on, I'm the next of kin, I want to have the money, they will not get it, because that's not who you have appointed. Whoever you have appointed as your trustee to receive the money, they will get the money, and that's no questions asked. There's no debate. The money will go to them. Does that help?
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Can we have some answers from the hands from Galaxy Tab 20? Unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you very much. It's Lawrence.
Hi, Lawrence. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. I think most of the questions have been asked. I have only one question. Can a cover be transferred in case I am the policy owner, but I don't kick it first and someone else kicks it? Can my cover be transferred to someone else and they get another cover?
It's a good question. By the way, there's no such thing as a silly question. I think it's, and you, can I say you've got a great smile, brightens up my screen. You can't transfer, unfortunately. It's on you. It's your life. It's your policy. It's your funeral. It's your plan. You know, if you kick it, which I haven't heard that expression for a long time. If you kick it, can you kick it? Yes, you can. Isn't that a song? I'm sure it's a song. But if you kick it, as you say, then of course you can. Then it goes. The money comes out to the person you've nominated to receive it. But you know, you can't transfer the policies. It's all on you, unfortunately, Lawrence.
Can I elaborate on that? We have a cover for the Ugandan families. We have funeral cover designed in Uganda. If you have a mom, a dad, or any family member that you want to take out a funeral cover for and they're residents in Uganda, we can provide a cover for you, and it's all set up in Uganda with the funeral directors and insurance providers in Uganda. Now that cover can be transferable. Say for instance, if you take out a cover for your father and your mother kicks it, as you've said, we can transfer that cover, or you can transfer part of that cover. For instance, the cover covers maybe the funeral, the funeral arrangement, the coffins, the grave compression. You may want to say, okay, I'll take out the casket, I'll take out this part of the cover and transfer it to the person who has passed. And then after a while, you redesign your cover to complete it as it was. That's only in Uganda.
Thank you.
I've got another question here. The insured and the next of kin die together at the same time? That's a very good question, which is why we always recommend that there's 2 or maybe 3 trustees. So, you know, if you and all of your next of kin, if you and all your trustees all die at the same time, I mean, that's just desperately bad luck. It would then go to your natural next of kin, but then the process takes a bit longer. For 30 years, I've never known the owner of the policy and all of her appointed beneficiaries or trustees to all die at the same time. I mean, that would be.
Can I elaborate on that as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, things like that can happen. For instance, if the husband, the wife is the next of kin, and their daughter who is over 18 was also the next of kin, and they died in a car accident.
Yeah.
So basically, it will go to, if one of those family had their parents still living, mom and dad,
we'll go to them.
Or their brothers and sisters living. So that means if it was the next of kin was husband, wife, and their children, they all died in a car accident, or a house burned on fire or something like that. It will, first of all, it will be, do they still have their parents alive? And then it will go to their siblings, and so on and so forth.
Is the term for the plan for 2 years? So do you pay every 2 years? No, the term of the plan, there is no term. The plan runs for the whole of your life. So whenever you die, it will pay out.
The simple explanation for how we design the funeral cover, it works like a car insurance for those of you who drive. Basically, as soon as you complete your process online, set up your direct debit, it will not die until it's your time to go. But your cover can pay out immediately. Immediately you activate it. So if you don't claim, there's no payout, just like the car insurance. If you don't pass, unfortunately, there is no claim out. However, we had a question on the table before that if I want to retire back home to Uganda, and how do I get my money? Do I lose out? As long as you leave your cover active, the money will be paid to your next of kin or your beneficiaries. It doesn't matter where you are.
A couple of things then. I think we're nearly close on the questions. Can you switch at any time in, Paul? Freddie asked the question, I've covered another company. Is it possible to switch? Yes, not a problem. Paul Jones answered that question. Or that yourself, Pauline, under Paul Jones. But anyway, you can switch at any time you like.
We have John and Vira's hand up. Could you unmute yourself?
Just 1 second.
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yes, my question is about if you have a relative and that relative dies, how do you locate the people who have insured them? If, for example, you don't have the information with you, is there any database?
We when somebody takes out a life insurance policy, we have all of their details. So we have all their contact details, like their address, their home address. So we would always go around to the house. We can write to them. There's email addresses. We'll also have the name, mobile number, email address, all the contact details of the next of kins and the trustees. So we track them down immediately, very, very quickly.
I think just say from your point of view, I think what you're trying to ask, if you did have the details of the person who passed away, you didn't know whether they had an insurance. It's going to be
Definitely.
because the insurance providers won't know that that person has passed. Yes, until they contacted. So we are just urging anyone that's taking up a cover, alert somebody that this company has got my cover. That's why the next of kin will come in. If you have more than one next of kin, when you pass, they will then process your documentation. They will know you had a cover. So when you take out, especially a funeral cover, don't make it private. Let your next of kin know that I've nominated you as my next of kin.
Actually, Pauline, on that, we at Bounce Life will actually email and write to the trustees that have been appointed, advising them that they have been appointed as trustees on the plan. So they will be told by us.
Thank you very much. That's a good answer, because sometimes you find that you can't trace the documents.
Yeah, all the trustees will know exactly that somebody has entrusted you with the money when they die. There's just a question from George Kalanzi just saying, is there a cap on the money that's paid into the plan, or do you just have to just keep paying forever and ever and ever? And the answer is that you stop paying at 90. The plan obviously continues beyond the age of 90, but you stop paying in at 90. So for those people that like doing a bit of maths, let me just share something with you here, because you'll like this. Very, very, very rarely will you ever pay in more money than gets paid out when you die. Very rarely. So let's say, for example, you're 50 years old and you pay £20 a month and you live to the age of 95. Now, you only pay in until 90, so you would have paid in £9,600, and it will guarantee to pay out 10. That's if you pay in for the maximum time from 50 to 90, 40 years. If you die when you're 85 or 80 or 75, then you'd have paid in a lot less than 9,600. So it is the most brilliant investment product, really. What is the average monthly cost? Well, it's probably about £20 a month is the average, really. What happens if your funeral plan company goes bust? question. Bear in mind, when we talk about your funeral plan company here, we are talking here about AIG, Aviva, Zurich, Scottish Widows, multi-billion-pound companies. I've never ever known in 30 years a life insurance company that you have your insurance with ever go bust. They might merge. Aviva might take. There was a company once many years ago called Norwich Union. They got taken over by Aviva. Now, if you are saying, so I want to cover off this question in case this is what you really meant. What happens if Bounce Life goes bust? Doesn't affect you in the slightest. Not in the slightest, because we have just the middleman that's arranged the plan between you and Legal & General, or you and AIG. So as much as I would be very, what happens if we go bust? Muchibi would be very, very unhappy if that happened, but of course it wouldn't affect you in any way. Galaxy S7, isn't it quite sensitive informing the beneficiaries? What if they plan your death? I mean, it's true. It's a good question. So at the end of the day, you as the person arranging your plan have all the control, have all the power. If you do not want your beneficiaries to be advised, then you need to tell us that. If you do not want us to, so it is one of those things that we will work with you to make sure that maybe there's other people that need to be advised. I hope that they won't start planning your death for £10,000. You want to make it much more than £10,000, don't you, when you want to start doing that sort of thing?
If I want to switch my account from Barclays to Lloyd's, for example, definitely I switch to another bank with all my money that previously had been banked in, let's say, Barclays, that I'm switching to Lloyd's. Now, concerning the insurance, if I'm with, let's say, with Aviva, and I want to switch to you, do I move with my old, my old history, the man I've paid them, and I switch everything back to you, or I just begin afresh?
Just begin afresh.
Okay.
Just begin afresh. Nice and simple.
Can I elaborate that? Just begin afresh. However, we try to make sure that the cover we're going to give you, basically you are not losing much. In a sense, if you are taking a funeral cover and you're switching on to that, it will start immediately. So if the inevitable did happen immediately after you switch, you'll be entitled to the full package anyway.
Yeah, because at the moment, let's say, for example, what I have with a really cheap, because I pay with my wife, both of us, and we are paying £20 a month, which is very cheap. So if I switch to you, Mr. Muchibi said that maximum is £20. So now, imagine if I switch to you with my wife, we are going to be paying £40, maybe depending on what kind of cover to offer me, but at least for them, they said I have to pay until I'm 75 years old, and then look. I mean, if there's going to be any alternation, it has to be when I'm 75 years old. But we are in together with my wife, and we are paying only £20 a month, which I don't know whether it can. If I switch to you, it can still make.
Don't quote me on the 20. I mean, £20 is a typical number for someone who's like in their 50s, okay health, that sort of thing. It could be more or less, but I think the thing to do, Freddie, is look, let's not second guess it. Let us speak to you. Let us talk to you. Just,
Good assessment.
Design a plan that's bespoke for you and your wife. We might be able to get you the plan that you really need in trust with a free will for less than £40 a month. You might be pleasantly surprised. So I think that's the best thing to do. Speak to one of the advisors, and we can design the right plan for you. And if, for example, we can't, we'll tell you if what you've got is better. If what you've got can't be beaten, if what you've got is, you took it out years and years, maybe then we'll just tell you, you can't lose.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
So, Mr. Freddie, is the beauty of this is, as you've said already, the cover you have goes up to 75. And during that time, as God is going to keep you longer than that, it will be way higher than that. The beauty of taking up the cover with us is permanent. It's not going to change. It's for whole of your life. Once you are designed, it's going to be 20 pounds. It will be 20 pounds if you reach 110.
Oh, yes, sorry, actually.
There is if you change and you review your cover by 75, you may be paying 60 pounds by then.
Yeah. Sorry, Paul, let me just jump in. So I missed that bit, what Freddie said.
Yeah.
If you've got a plan that runs to 75 and you pay in all that money to 75 and you die at 76, it's all lost. Every penny gone, a waste of money. So for this to work, you have to have a plan that runs for the whole of your life, because you don't know if you're going to die next week, next month, or when you're one day. Just the question is it you understand that beneficiaries may not necessarily need to be the same as trustees? You are absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. It may well be that, you know, with these policies, your beneficiaries might be your children who are below the age of, 18, but that you can't, your children are too young to be trusted with the money. Let's say, for example, the payout was £20,000. What happens is the trustees receive the money and pay for your funeral. But of course, the funeral the celebration might only cost £15,000, which means the balance of the money, the 5,000, go to your children, your beneficiaries. See, the trustees, it's not their money. The money is for the children. But if the children are below the age of 18, they're not old enough yet to manage, to deal with funeral directors and arrange your repatriation. They're too young. So a trustee is somebody who you trust with the money to make sure the arrangements are taken care of. If there's any surplus money, so to say the celebration, everything comes to £8,000, and the payout was 10,000, then the 2,000 pounds will then go to your children. The trustee cannot keep the money. It's not their money. It's the money's for the children. Are there any discounts offered if several members of the same family take out a plan with you? Other than we will shower you with love and adoration and service for many, many years to come. There's no discounts. Doesn't work that way, because don't forget, we are the broker, the middleman. We are, although you're paying no penny, you'll pay the lowest possible rate. You won't get it cheaper anywhere else. There's no discounts. However, we, Bounce, will always look to look after you. So let's say, for example, if a family take it out, let's say, mum and dad and brother and sister, cousins and nephews and, everything, then what we would probably do, we'd turn around and say, well, look, you're all going to get a free will worth £130. You might have seen in behind me here a Bounce Visa card. This is very, very cool. This actually is we're the only life insurance broker in the country that has got a partnership with Visa. It's a prepaid card, so no credit scores are needed. Everyone will get one. And every time you use this card to, let's say, Asda or Marks and Spencer's or Primark or Argos or, all restaurants and shops, you get 8% cash back onto the card. So that's a nice gift that could be coming your way as well. So we'll just give you all these. We'll give you all these gifts and all these things. There's no discounts, but we'll look after you. Don't worry.
Can I just say something? One more.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah, it is another point of information as you're talking about these wills and insurances. Just to let everybody know that when you're making your wills or this, make sure that you are very clear about maybe your next of kin or whatever. Because if, for example, you made a will and maybe you have a spouse, yeah, and this spouse will have access to all. It doesn't matter where all your properties or income is all over the world. They also have access. They're entitled by the UK law that they're entitled to all your properties to, so because you might think that maybe your wife will get,
the house in the UK and the rest all over the world, you go to somewhere. No, they have, and unless it's you specifically state that in your will, your spouse, yeah, will be, you know, it's got the right to all your property all over the world, global. And this might be maybe things that, you know, she did not work, she wasn't part of it, maybe from another marriage. And, you know, you accumulated that and it belongs to the children somewhere. She may, you know, he or she may be entitled to that and has the right to distribute them as they feel fit. So you have to be also very aware. This was something which was also came up in our meeting regarding this. Most of us were unaware, you know, but this, you have to be very, very aware. So when you're making your will, you have to be very, very specific. Don't leave any loopholes, because your kids might from another marriage, might miss out on your
advice. Thank you, Harriet.
Yeah.
Thanks, Harriet. That is actually very good. In a sense, what you are saying, Harriet, is that everybody needs to have a will.
Yes.
Yes.
Because if you don't leave a will, your fourth wife may take everything.
Yes.
I mean, the
they
best
entitled
to describe wills.
as per UK law.
Can I
That sounds like an in joke there, wasn't it? That was an in joke there. I missed that. I missed that. You'll have to tell me about. You have to tell me about that another day. You can't keep any secrets from Michibi, just to let you know. Michibi wants to hear all the news. Winnie wants to ask, do I qualify to get a free will worth £130 after being a member for more than 3 months? No. You will qualify to get a free will worth £130 immediately. Immediately. For us, it's important. We don't need you to wait 3 months. We want you to have it now. What happens if something happens to you a day after you've taken out the policy? The policy will pay out, but we want to make sure that everything else is taken care of as well. So no, you don't wait any time with us. You get it straight away.
I think, Mukungu Winnie, you already have a cover with us, but you didn't take out the will service. So yes, you can take it out now. And as a matter of fact, let me take this opportunity to urge everybody who already have covers with us, please take your will service. It's free for you.
Pauline, can I just say this? If it's possible, would everyone who's already a client of Bounce Life, and I want to thank you for your business, please email, contact, text Pauline. Pauline, then you can just email support, and just give us their names, and they get the will.
Yes,
yes. Just do it that way around. Then it's controlled, and it's all done properly.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Can I just say here, the lady mentioned there, what do we get if we sign up the whole family? From a Bounce network, you get a free will worth 130, could be more. From Rap and Sons, we are going to work out a percentage, as we always give back to the community. Want to take this opportunity so we can organize this well with Owechi Diva, as we are humbled to have you lead this. It will work with the Bakungus in Bendo government to motivate our community to take off the cover. Each person that signs up will get a percentage. We'll talk more of how we're going to work out whether it goes straight to that Bendo or it goes to the church. But we will offer a certain percentage to each person that takes up a cover. So what we want to do is we want to motivate through you, the leader, the Bakungu that are all present, to motivate our communities. What we want to do is to stop the GoFundMe. It's very stressful. It's very stressful. So let us motivate ourselves whilst we're here. So each person that takes up a cover, you get a free will service from Bounce, and you get a certain percentage, you can agree, from Rap and Sons.
Hello, Pauline.
Hello.
I just want to mention that it was agreed that the discounts will go in one place, in Nkuluze, because the effort is a joint effort, so it has to be centrally recouped.
Yes.
that's not a problem at all. So if we can work out a system whereby the Bakungus in your bendos can motivate people, then we can allocate that with a code. So what we can do is probably work with you, Ashley Machibi, on this, is create a code so that we know this person can be given that code for us to monitor that percentage back into the account, the Kavaka's account, yeah.
I just want to say thank you for that generous offer, Pauline. That sounds great. You know, it's amazing. The more giving back to the community is so important. Question: does the Samsung Galaxy S9? By the way, I want to know who you are. I want to know who you are. You're famous at the Galaxy S7. Does the free will include advice? You've asked some good questions. Does the free will include will advice? Now, I want to be clear on this one. It is a basic will, £30. Sometimes they can cost a lot more. It is a will that you complete the questionnaire yourself. You submit it to our will writing company, who check it and verify it and make sure it's it's sound. If it's something, if you've written certain things down which just do not make any sense, or they think they're not comfortable with it, they will contact you, and then they might give you some advice. But if it makes sense and you submit it, they then go through everything. They check it, and then they send you your will by email, which you then print off, sign it, get it witnessed, and give it to somebody who you trust. It doesn't. The will is actually it doesn't automatically come with advice, because in the main, most people, unless their situation is very complicated, it doesn't require advice. They're very straightforward.
To get in touch, the number is already written above there. I'll give it to you again. Is 07988 787 389. We shall have information left on the buganda.com. All the Bakungus have our contact. Let us motivate, let us support each other, let us benefit from this. Let us use this solution we have to solve the problem that's eating us in our community. Muchibi, I'm gonna have to switch on a little bit in Luganda because I've been requested to, which units to start learning. But I don't know if anyone has any other direct question they want to ask Muchibi before I switch on to Luganda, because the time is kicking. I'm aware people want to leave, so I would want to summarize in our native.
Before you do that, Pauline, I just want to say thank you to you all. As I say, I absolutely adore the Uganda community. The amazing people, and I love the fact that you're looking after yourselves, looking after your families, looking after your loved ones, being responsible. You know what? It's doing it now. It's the most important thing. Don't delay. The best time to do it is today. Yeah, I mean, don't put it off until tomorrow. What you can do today. So thank you for your time. If it's okay, Muchibi, I'm going to go and spend a bit of time with my family now, if that's okay. Can I love you all and leave you?
Thanks very much, Ashley. Thanks for your contribution, and we'll give people your contacts.
Thank you.
And Pauline's contacts, and people will get in touch. But thanks very much.
You're welcome. Good night, everyone. See you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
So, are there any other questions?
Mbadde nzireyo kwogera ku cover eye Uganda. Abalina abazadde e Uganda nga mwandiyagadde batwalira cover, please mututuukirire. Covers ezo ziri bespoke and they are transferable. Covers ezo si za monthly premium, osasula installment either mirundi ebiri oba esatu okusinziira ku affordability, ne tukolera certificate eyo. Certificate does not expire paka ng'omuntu mukama amugye mu nsi. Naye ekiyinza okukyukako nti singa oba otutte cover yazitandika mu $2.2 n'okuddaagula okusinziira ky'oba oyagala. Singa mukama omuntu wamugyawo maybe 10 years later nga requirement zeeyongeramuko, you just top up. Oba you can review it every 2 years n'olaba okusinziira ku mbeera bw'eba eyimiridde. So abalina abazadde ewaffe ewaka nga mwandyagadde obatwalira funeral covers ezo tuzi designing, please. And they are transferable to other members of the family, or you can transfer packages out of it to suit your need at that point in time. Waliwo omuntu amulala alinayo question?
Nze njagala kwebaza. Nze njagala kwebaza. Pauline, that has been very wonderful. Information, all Ugandans need that information. I try to send to as many people as possible so that everybody should come and listen to you. Because what Ugandans do, they think they will just die and go fund me. And they always hope people are going to contribute money, when actually, from what you have explained, you can set aside the money that you buy for pizza, every month to cover this important thing. And the sure deal that we end up for. We're going to die, that's for sure. We insure our houses and cars, and sometimes we don't even get any accidents on our houses. So you guys, thank you so much. I wish we could have this every 3 months, so we keep reminding people, because they change their mind. Change their mind, So please, every 3 months. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Joy.
Nekirala kyenjagadde okwongerako nti nkimanyi nti no twogera nnyo ku funeral cover olw'obuzibu bwe tusanga abantu nga batuvuddeko, naye tuyinayo serious illness cover. Serious illness cover yeyamba omuntu nga oli mu mbeera y'okuba nti tosobola genda kukola oba olwadde oba olwaziza omuntu owa family. Eno serious illness cover yo osobola okutekinga on nga etali nga funeral cover. Serious illness cover the whole family. Nti gwe omwami bw'oba olwadde ng'oba omukyala n'abaana balamu gwe osobola okutekinga claim. Ate bw'oba owonye ne tukola assessment again from your GP after 3 months, osobola okuddako no reinstating cover yo. Oba olwazizza omwana abakyalina abaana abali under your care, olwazizza omwana wandyagadde okugenda okukola naye omwana akyali mulwadde booster tutalepe buwaddeyo naye ng'ate olina ogenda okukola kuba bills zo tezijja kumanya nti olwazizza omwana. This is when the cover ya serious illness comes in. N'ogamba banne kantwale claim, at least mbeera waka n'omwana emyezi ng'esatu oba ena mujjanjabe, then you take annual leave with your employer. Mateeka tasobola kugoba kujjako omulimu gwo, at least n'obeera ne that peace of mind n'olabirira omwana wo mu kaseera ako oba omwami. Kugamba it can be a family package. So nakyo ekintu ekyo mbasaba mukirowoozeeko kuba nga ogyeko okufa n'okulwala nabwo obulamu tebuli guaranteed. Osobola okulwala naye nga tofudde. Ate nga is not a critical illness nga cancer. Naye ng'olwadde bulwadde oluusi okyali awo okyali mu assessment n'ekikuluma n'abasawo nabo tebannaba kitegeera. Naye nga kugamba oluusi ne weeforcing okuddayo ogenda okole olw'okuba bills kutunuulidde abaana tolina kyabaliisa tewali ssente. So serious illness should be taken alongside funeral cover. Waliwo omwami yabuuzizza the difference between life insurance ne funeral cover. Sijjukira bulungi oba mukiri akikonyeeko obeera akinyonnyodde bulungi. Zonna covers ezo zombi zibeera paid out ng'omuntu mukama amugye mu bulamu bw'ensi eno. Ne difference ya funeral cover, designinga funeral cover eno basically through wrap and sand. Eyamba abantu baffe mu kaseera kano etuggyeko omutawaana gwa GoFundMe oba okuyisa akabbo ng'omuntu atuvuddeko nti ssente zetwadesigninga nga ntono ddala nti zibeere nga basobola okwangibwa okusasula omuntu oyo mukama beneficiaries oba community, kuba oluusi community wano ffe tunoonya ssente ng'abantu tebalina family wano, zibeere nga ziri paid out quickly. Ne life insurance, sente nazo zibeera paid out to your beneficiaries or next of kin mukama era nga akujje mu bulamu bw'ensi. Naye sente zo teziri designed for the funeral cover. Tezigenda kuvaayo mangu nga bwe twandyetaaze nti fe omuntu atufuddeko ku Monday, ku Friday twagala okumuzaayo oba okumuziika wano. So life insurance sente zo boolekedde ba beneficiaries oba abaana oba okusasula amabanja go g'oboolese bas designing anti no za kusasulanga mortgage abalina mortgage noba nti nate family yo tebagitusudde ku street nti olufa era bo bajja zi designingira ne bas directing around okusasula amabanja go, so tebabeera so concerned about funeral yo because it's not particularly designed to serve that purpose. However, bwe bibeera nga bivuddeyo mangu ng'omuntu tumuterese era ssente zisobola okuvaako part esasula funeral cover naye nga they are not particularly designed kukola ku funeral yo. So kiba kirungi nakyo abaziina abalina mortgage abalina abaana abalina life insurance n'olowoozaako ko ne ku funeral cover, because this is a very small package that is paid out immediately okuyamba mu kaseera ako omuntu aba tuviiriddeko.
Okay.
I have got a question.
Waliwo eyasoose mukungu Winnie Nantege yabadde alina ekibuuzo.
Eyanzize ssebo omubaka si kibuuzo naye complimentinga na kwebaza aba Rap and Sons na advice bw'oba tonna making up your mind about this. I'm a living example. Nalina insurance nalina akagijjawo nga nkyusizza emirimu because bwe nakyusa emirimu nenfuna akabenje we katuukirawo nali sirina insurance neeki era abantu nga mmwe mwandibadde munnyamba okuteekawo naye omuntu bw'aba asobola okukirectifyinga kinnatuuka nandisabye omuntu yenna atanna making up actually make up their mind and start doing tembadde nsaba okwogera ssebo.
Weebale nnyo mukungu. Okay, ate mukyala Harriet.
Ssebo neeyanzizza kaakati nnyabo mbadde njagala kubuuza kibuuzo Pauline. Weebale nnyo mukyala Nantege kubanga kyogedde ekyo kituufu. Insurance zino zitutawaanya nnyo. Nze nange ntawaanya nnyo n'insurance nze sasulidde emyaka mingi naye oluusi ofuna obuzibu bw'oba omulimu guweddewo nga tosobola ne expiringa n'oddamu. Basically we've paid a lot. Naye that's what I realized nti yinza okuba nga osasulidde emyaka 10 then ne expiringa for just like backward 2 months ng'oli covered nga tobisasula, then the next 3rd month n'ofuna any accident, honestly n'obeera uncovered ate nga you really need it. So it is important to be on top of it all the time. Thank you very much, Winnie. That's very important. Nyabo kyembadde njagala okubuuza regarding what you said, serious insurance. Is it serious sickness insurance you call it?
Serious illness.
Yes. Is that the same as because nze gyenina bagita sickness and accidental something. Basically sickness that maybe if you get an accident, like when you were in hospital, when you had that accident, or any sort of sickness you had which was not planned. Now here the only way these people pay out, because it's happened to me, it's only when you are in hospital. So they pay me for the number of days, even your children, they have to be in hospital. They have to have been in hospital. Otherwise, you do not get an insurance. So after discharging,
apparently there are some people who don't understand Luganda, stick to English.
Okay, sorry. So that is that the same insurance? Because this one, you are paid after being discharged from hospital, the number of days you have been, or the children or your husband, so they pay for whatever accident or immediate sickness or any serious. Is that the same one you're talking about?
Serious illness I'm talking about, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be in hospital, but you were unwell for the 6 weeks. Because the 6 weeks, the statutory pay will kick in. So after 6 weeks, it will be a communication between the insurance provider and your doctor. They expect you to have gone to the GP during those 6 weeks. So the first communication will be your GP, what has been the problem and what is the treatment. So it doesn't matter whether you're hospitalized or not, as long as it's affecting your health and you are not able to function as you should in your normal well-being.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, can I ask a question? Is that one similar to an income protection?
Income protection is designed for, it can relate in a way, but income protection is just for when you are working. However, serious illness, you can cover your children who are not working.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, one more question, if I'm allowed to ask it.
Go ahead.
If I want to pay insurance for my parents in Uganda, already we discussed it, but I want clarity on it. Let's say, for example, if I pay £20, as they say, and one of my parents or both of them pass away, what are the procedures? Is it that you take care of his funeral, or do they give money to the bereaved family? I need clarity on that. Do they take care of just the funeral, or, you know?
The Uganda cover is not £20.
Mm-hmm.
The Uganda cover is bespoke, and it's basically designed to cover for the funeral.
Okay.
It's designed to cover the funeral. That's why it's can transferable. It's not money given. It can be money given out whereby you can use any other funeral directors, but we try to cater for the service.
Okay.
Of you know, of what your package, whatever you package for. So at that point in time, when your loved one passes, we go through your package. And if you want to, you know, upgrade it, if the package you have at that point in time is not enough for what is required, then you can add on that. But yeah, it's basically a service provided. It's bespoke. You design how you want it.
All right. So it depends on how I want it, what it has to include. And that's how the price either go high or low.
The minimum is 2.5 M, but then the prices goes up according to what you want to put in. Include.
All right. Thank you.
Did the PS Freddy ask anything about illness as well? Illness insurance in Uganda? Or was it just about funeral cover?
I think it was funeral cover, but concerning sickness, I don't think, because do you still have the package if, let's say, my dad becomes sick or my mom becomes sick? And
the Kingdom of Buganda has got a cover for illness in Uganda. So, you know, that's something you could access as well.
All right.
But we can send you details.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah.
Can I get the details as well?
Yes.
Thank
So
you.
if you wanted to cover your people for illness in Uganda,
yes,
the Kingdom has got a cover.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Okay. So how do we register now that we need? Do we send private emails or what?
No, I'll get details and send you, because today is Pauline's day. Pauline and Ashley. I didn't expect this thing about Uganda, but I'll get information and then forward it to you.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
so much.
welcome.
Pauline, can we, sorry, can I ask, can we explain the funeral covers for our parents? Like the packages?
In Uganda?
Yes.
Yes, you can. Speaking in Uganda, parents
Uganda, okay.
start talking about, mommy, I'm taking out a cover for you. So if you know cover in case you pass away, they'll start worrying. Do you want me to die? Depends on the mindset of your parents. But of course, what we encourage, that please plan how you want your life to be celebrated. Talk about what you want to be done. Even choose your casket. If you reach the age of 50 and over, every day is the bonus. Why can't you just sit down? I'm sorry. Well, let me say 40.
I'm getting close to that.
I'm all for
So Pauline, so the cover itself is just a funeral cost.
I keep telling my kids, you know, if I passed away now, celebrate me, you know. This is what I would want. This is how I would want to celebrate my life. That is what they call celebration of life. Talking and planning. How, you know, what would you want? So basically, when there is funds and you pass, your family will get together. Of course, they'll cry, you know, loss of a loved one. But then they'll start remembering, oh, this is what she wanted. Or she said this. Or she'll say this and the other. And then you get together and talk about it. So if your parents in Uganda have that mindset that they will not feel offended to say, I'm planning how we'll celebrate your life if you pass, that will be the best. They can even go themselves with the funeral directors. They can make home visits, sit with your parent, show them what the, you know, the caskets we have, let them choose, let them talk how they, you know, how they want their life to be celebrated. Why not?
It's mainly a celebration, and it's a cost. It's the cost of the actual funeral. So does it cost? Say, like you're here, does it cost your travel expenses? I just want to know what, in terms of the packages.
No,
what
packages are for the funeral arrangement, the
Only.
funeral proceedings, basically
Only.
in Uganda.
In Uganda.
Even here, the way we designed that £10,000, we are thinking that that's just enough for the funeral, for your funeral, not including the tickets to fly you out. However, the beauty of it here, you can also add on and say, you know what, outside the £10,000, I'd like to add on maybe another £4,000. So if I pass, you include that in your will, that give 20 to my son, give this to my daughter, to aid them to come and accompany my body. And that money will also go into beneficiaries, so it will not be taxed. So it will be paid out at the same time as your funeral package. But if you identify that in the will, so people who are handling your proceedings will know.
You have 3 packages in for the parents' funeral. So there are 3 packages. Your package ranges. So can you? Okay, so can you tell me package 1 does this, package 2 does this?
The packages in Uganda?
Yes.
You read the question.
The packages for the parents, is it specific? Like, do you have 3 packages? Can you specify what they? I know they cover the funeral cost.
The package is bespoke. It's one package. It's bespoke. It starts from 2.5 M.
Okay.
That 2.5 M includes if your loved one passed away and you want them to be treated, they will be collected. The body will be collected, preserved, 3-day storage. The digging of the grave and completed with the shrub. It will include a coffin, transport to the church, and transport to the graveside. It will have 6 announcements. It will have the flowers. It will have the tent for the casket. It will have an album, pictures. It will have, God, what else? The basics.
Yeah,
So
that's fine. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Basics. And that cover, you take it out for the family. You can see, you know, for your parents. So whoever goes first, that cover goes to them.
Yeah.
However, the beauty of it, you can say, okay, this covers for my parents. But if your jaja or your uncle passed and you say, you know what, I wasn't prepared, but let them take out the coffin and give it to uncle, then you come back and replace it. It's flexible.
Okay.
Uganda, so understand.
Thank you.
What if you go fast?
They are covered.
You are covered here in UK. So you're covered here in UK. Will get it for you. Your parents, remember, once you paid out that cover, it doesn't expire. They will have their certificate with the next of kin, nominated next of kin. So you passing, your cover will be here in UK to cater for you. That cover for your parents in Uganda, it will still be there. It will not expire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I think
Yes.
we are about to wind up. Yeah.
I've got a quick one.
Yes.
I've been raising my hand.
Oh.
I was raising my hands as well. I'll make it quick. It's to do with the family funeral protection in Uganda. While we work at our cultural understanding of preparing for death and all that, do parents or family in Uganda need to know that I'm putting together this package for them? Do they need to be involved?
They don't have to be at all. They don't have
Okay.
to. Because in Uganda, we are not assessing them on their medical, there's no medical assessment at all. You are taking out a cover to aid you when they pass. So as long as you
Okay.
somebody to know that you trust, because in case you took out that cover and you passed first and nobody else knew that you had that cover for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So I think Mukungulu I was thinking about the sensitivities
Yes.
of parents,
yes,
knowing that you've taken a funeral cover. So I think that covers that question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, I have my hand raised. Yeah, it's me.
Alex 7.
Yes, I have one question. I'm just looking at the risks involved here. Okay, Pauline, your company, Sons, is it a one-man business? And Muchibi's one is also one-man business. So what if anything happened to any one of you? Whom would we contact? Is the company like big so that, you know, in any event that anyone would be contactable?
Now, the beauty of our companies is we are working with the most reputable companies to provide your insurance covers. So when we take your details, we mark it out and find out who is going to give you the best service. Those documents don't come from Sons. Those documents don't come from Bounce either. They'll come direct from the insurance provider. So if I was to pass away today and you are allocated from AIG or Legal and General or Scott's Widow, those are the people you would directly deal with.
All right,
so
thank you very much.
Whether I'm still here or not, or Bounce is here or not. We are trying, like I said, our main goal is to bridge the gap between the insurance provider and the funeral directors.
And the community.
Our community best. What we are trying to aim at is if you have an active cover and we're still struggling to sort out the paperwork with your allocated, nominated next of kin. We want the insurance provider to be able to work with the funeral directors and repatriate you or bury you while the process of the money is going on. So we are bridging the gap between them. So that's why we still have events. We try to bring them in to be part of us. Hence the reason they are calling themselves Mochibi. So they be part of us. They understand our culture and needs. Whereby for us Ugandans, when a person passes, we don't want to live with the disease for years and years like other communities. When the person passes, that's why we are struggling so much quickly to GoFundMe, quickly to Isakabo, so that we get funds and repatriate. So we're saying, you know, we want to be part of this. They want to be part of our community as a family. When the person passes, they have an active cover. Let us proceed with the funeral directors. Let us repatriate. While the money comes, the insurance provider will pay the funeral director. The balance goes to where it was meant to be. Because when you are nominating your next of kin, doesn't necessarily have to be in this country. They can be in Uganda. And yes, you may have property here and you want them to come and sort out things or children, but we can repatriate and then they come later and sort out this. So this is where we are heading. So Sons or Bounce Network is here to bridge the gap. So your covers, your money, your package is safe.
Thank you. And what about
sorry.
So what about the one in Uganda? Whom do we contact? Is it yourselves or do you
Yes,
connect
you come
us to
to us, we do the paperwork. If you want your parents to be contacted there, you can do, you can, or any person you nominate, or you can complete the whole process here. You get your certificate and they are all sorted.
Thank you.
Okay, Pauline, how quickly are your payments in terms of my mum died today? Say, for instance, I've got the cover. How quickly do I receive the funds in order for?
At least we want to say 72 hours after we receive the death certificate, because death certificate will be the proof that the person has passed.
Is that for both here and Uganda?
Mainly here for the death certificate. Of course, in Uganda, if the person passes, the family will be contacted immediately and the funds will be given out. And especially if we are providing the service, so they will be in contact with the funeral directors and the process will start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pauline, this is Henry Mutumba. My question is, can I take out an open funeral services policy, which is not named, so that if I have any relative of mine with whom I want to use it for, I can just call upon you at any time?
Here in UK?
I am in the UK and I buy my policy. It will be for one of my parents. I have my parents. Anyone can pass on at any time. Can I take out a policy without a name on it?
In Uganda, for your parents in Uganda?
Yes.
I'll have to come back to you on that. But I believe it can be possible, but I'll have to come back on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to come back to you on that. Here in UK, it has to have your details because you have to be assessed you as an individual.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, could you please take my number and send me a note so I can follow up on that kindly?
I'll send it on chat privately to you.
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
Okay, any more questions? Okay.
I've got one question. In terms of the funeral insurance, is it specific to Uganda or can it cover other African countries?
Or other African countries? Well, no, the parents one is specifically for the Ugandans, but the funeral cover here in UK it's all communities. All communities.
I was talking about the one for the parents.
The parents in Uganda at the moment, we are specializing in Uganda.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
All right. Thank you.
Yes. However, we are opening up a branch. We're opening up a branch in Ghana. We are meant to open it up before the COVID kicked in. So in Ghana, it will probably apply the same way. We are opening up as soon as things go back to normal. We are taking house life in Ghana. So we'll come to Uganda as well, but at the moment.
Okay.
So, waliwo omukono omulala ogwa Freddie? PS Freddie, is that your hand up?
No, thank you. I just appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay. Owekitiibwa nga tonnaba kuggalawo, nsaba okwebaza bonna abasobodde okuwaayo obudde bwammwe to attend. Bannange mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala. Eno ensonga etukwatako nnyo, ate tubadde mu kaseera aka COVID ne tulaba abantu baffe be batugenzeeko. Majority of them tukyabalina wano, tuli mu process kati ya kubazzaayo nga government we yatutadde. Naye tubadde mu kaseera akazibu ennyo. Kati tusaba nti no banaye mukolagane n'abakungu be mutuukirira, tulabe nga ensonga eno tugisolovinga. Tulina solution eri workable. Banange tukwatiganyize wamu. Tubeere nga bwe tufiirwa omuntu waffe, tetubonaabona na kunoonya funds because it's very, very affordable. Twadesigninga cover okubeera nti no payout ya £10,000. In case omuntu asazeewo muziika wano, it's still enough. Naye ate bw'obanga you can't afford £10,000, at least keep reducing the package to the premium you can afford. At least have something we tutandikira. community wetandikira over your loved ones okulaba nti waliwo ekiriwo oba embeera zino zituyiseemu bannange mbi ne mu kaseera keekemu njagala okwebaza ennyo abakungu abakolaganye naffe as Sons mu kaseera ke tuyiseemu aka COVID abatuyambye okudistributinga immune boosters. Tufunye very good feedback from abantu waffe ababadde affected. Mukungu Nantege webale nnyo, Mukungu Muyen Lawrence bonna bane mwebale nnyo kuba mutuyambye nnyo okulaba nti no tufuna aba volunteers buli end. Abe Manchester mwebale nnyo, abantu baffe bangi nnyo baali affected naye twasobola okubatuukako. Scotland Mukungu Bukulu mwakola omulimu gwa ttendo nnyo bannaye twongere okukolaganira wamu tulabe nga n'ekizibu kya GoFundMe tukijja mu ddiiro. That's all I can say. Bannaye get in touch, abe Uganda tweyambe n'abali wano get in touch tulabe nga tujjawo problem eri ku mmeeza. We have a solution between us.
Mwebale ddala okubeera naffe akawungeezi ka leero. Manyi muli bize nnyo naye ndowooza munakkirizaganya nange nti abantu abazze okwogera naffe batuwadde information nnungi nnyo ate nga ejja tugasa. Mwebale nnyo Pauline, mwebalire ddala ne Mwami Mukiibi, era ndowooza mu autumn sometime osanga tunaakiddamu tukinyikize n'abalala abatabaddeewo leero bakitegeere. Naye nammwe mukozese information gye babawadde mugende mutegeeze ku bantu abalala. Ensonga eno nkulu tujja kugyetaaga. I think it's the future. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala. Awangaale nnyo Ssaabasajja.
Awangaale ssebo.
Thank you so much.